uh, kind of want to talk about some beings of light type of talk here. And it's mostly biblical, but I'm gonna go off of this old Indian the this the history of the Ojibwe people, the book. There's a part in it where it says six beings came out of the sea, and it's like they were all in these kind of like coverings, man, so you couldn't see their face. And they tried to like they wanted to talk with man, but when one lifted its basically its veil or whatever, its covering, it's like the man that was trying to talk with it, he just basically like exploded, like spontaneous combustion. Um, so and I'm not sure if the creature or the being itself also like vaporized as well. Like, I mean, that might sound like just oh crazy superstitions, demons, which it could be. I'm not saying it's not, or fallen angels. I'm not gonna say it's not either, because in the Bible also that the devil can masquerade as a angel of light, or can appear as an angel of light. So, and it also says the angels in that came to tell people that Jesus was gone. Uh, it said their countenance was like lightning, and I'm not sure if that means like, do they like glow? You know what I'm saying? Like literally, are they like sitting there like shining? Or you got Tupac Amaru. That's a, a, a god man of like Peru or something like that, and his name was the Shimmering Serpent. So he was, or the Shining Serpent. Uh, this could be related, or it could be different, but yet still related. And that's the whole point of keep making these comparisons here. Is they might be different, they might be similar, or they could be the same dang accounts of just by different people. Okay, uh, same accounts of different things by different people. So it's not one thing. Like, hey, if here's where I was gonna go in the Bible. It's like, okay, it's like when God came to Moses, uh, he was in the form of this big burning bush the bush wasn't really on fire, so it was more like uh uh I mean it was something else than actual fire, but it was the way that they described it was like fire, and light. If you really see, and you see like Jesus in Revelation, he's like glowing, like when you take copper or brass out of a furnace, dude, and you pull it out, it glows like so bright. Like, look, when they do welding and stuff, they got to wear those masks with the thing on it because they're so bright that it'll actually burn out your eyeballs. So I mean, just that right there. If someone's a being of light, they could burn out your eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? That's just if they were so bright, they'd burn out your eyes. It's just like welding. And even the blacksmiths, basically they were in a room, and it was a tent totally closed off, so it was totally dark in there, so they could actually see the metal. You know what I mean? So I mean that would have been appeared very bright. You also have in the temple that fire would come down and just burn people. If they were impure in the temple, in the holy place, they would just spontaneously combust and be end up holy ashes. Uh, Basically, that's in Numbers. So I mean, I was that for some reason that book, man, it was a key that a factor I needed to be made known of, because I just a lot of things clicked into place when I actually gave that a look over. Because that's all I can say about it now. It's just still at the point of a look over. I ain't even some books, I've read 5, 6 times and still ain't. It's more than a look over, but there's still more to be revealed. I just got to go and research other material from different places, and then come back and look at it with the new light. You know what I'm saying? Let me think of more of this same phenomena. It was like Ezekiel says he seen an angel, and it was like that of a it shined like that of a terrible crystal. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's pretty dope. That looks like when they you see movies like The Terminator or uh, the Avengers, and they show you those Stargates or Stargate where the people touch, like it's like glowing water, and they touch it and it's like that kind of sounds like terrible crystal, maybe, I don't know. But you got the book of Daniel where um they're thrown into the fire, and it says there's a fourth one, there's a likeness of a fourth man in there, like unto the Son of God. This is what the dude says. So there's an appearance of someone. It doesn't say exactly who, but it's someone that has the ability to go pure light. Like, I mean, it's almost like, I mean, don't want to water this down or dumb it down, but it's almost like Dragon Ball Z, like Super Saiyan. It's like you can take on your regular form, or you can charge up and bust through to a different form, and even go beyond that to like a super form, to where it's almost like just to look at it is already, it's killing you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like uh there's a part in the gospel where these guys come walking up. Basically, Jesus is doing his own thing up on this mountain, and then they come walking up, and all of a sudden they see these three dudes standing there, and they're like beings of light, and they're all glowing, and they're like, oh, that's Moses and Elijah and Jesus. So they flipped and showed kind of for a second a, a kind of a view into what they really are, what they truly are. Like Jesus says, when we die, we shall see each other as we truly are. So I mean, they're, who knows? It says, Paul says, don't you know we will be like the angels? And when after we move on to the, and we will also judge the angels. So, for all the stuff all the tricks they're playing on us, there's gonna come a time where we get to, call them out for all the stuff, all the tricks and stuff they did. You know what I'm saying? And once again, these things also, the angels have the ability to appear as light as well. So, because I mean, uh, uh, it's also saying like God Himself shall shine forth like the sun, or as the sun, or something. So it's like, yeah, there's something to that. I mean, I can't totally, you can't totally say, because like I said, if I was to actually see what was really happening, I would spontaneously combust. You know what I'm saying? So it's or there's a part when when John the Baptist baptizes him, and this dove comes down, it shined down from above, and it came into him, and it looked like a dove. Uh, I mean, there's more examples of this kind of aspect. Or even Moses. I think Moses actually started to catch on, turn into light, and he was glowing, and everyone was freaked out, like, get away, Moses! It's a ghost. That ain't Moses. You know what I'm saying? I think it's something to that effect. So I mean, hey, I'm not sure here, but I mean, look, it's worthy of considering and then debunking. If this just sounds like total speculation, total woo, total uh just total insanity and craziness, you know what I'm saying? Well then, enlighten me then, my friend. And then, I was just reading Timothy, and that's what made me reconsider all this. He says, like right towards the end of it, he says, and we should keep this commandment. But then it goes into describing Jesus. And then it says, He is the one who dwells in the light. And then that made me, it kind of, I had all these flashes of this stuff, and even the six things that came out of the sea, and it was like they didn't mean man harm there in this case. You know what I mean? And it said the man he was struck dead as if he got struck by thunder. Is what it said. But yeah, this it's crazy subject. But it's written about. But it also, the devil also can masquerade around this way as well. So it gives validity to a lot of things. Or even in Isaiah it says, the light that dwelt in the darkness, but yet the darkness perceived it not. In the beginning it was dark. So the light was in the darkness. It said, let there be light. Sound preceded the light in that case. But the light is there. It's just we can't see it. And for some reason we cannot see it. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that maybe we could see it, but that's just maybe is tied up into what their real agenda of CERN is they're trying to really get deep into this, what I'm talking about here. But it's like God has to go through all these, like, I don't want to make God sound weak or nothing, but it seems like he has to jump through all these hoops, or he did jump through all these hoops out of love for mankind, to keep trying to teach us. Because it's like, listen, you can't come too close to God. If you're living wrong, you'll misinterpret what it is. You won't be able to understand even if he did come. You know what I'm saying? So all these certain circumstances had to be exactly perfect for these things to happen, and it's always to teach us something. And it is, it's like, literally, that's kind of one of the reasons why Jesus was to try to, by his sacrifice, we don't have to jump through these hoops as as difficult as it was in the past. He made it a lot easier. But yet no one, I don't know, I haven't met many people who have tapped into that, to the access that actually should give us. You know what I'm saying? Where maybe we could peer into things and see things that others couldn't in previous times. But yet, for some reason, just people haven't woken up to the fact that this is possible. We've been dumbed down by science, man. But science, on the low hand, what they don't tell us, supports a lot of these things in the Bible that they would call superstitious now. In all actuality, are realities in our present day. So listen, if there is an all powerful God with powers and capabilities beyond all of this, beyond space and time, why couldn't he have all these crazy attributes when we have technology that kind of takes the place of that and can do similar things to that in this time right now? We see it every day. Every day when you look at the sky, it's been manipulated by man. You know what I'm saying? And in times of the past, that was so hard to do. Well, you'd have to cut down all your forests and burn them, and everyone poop out, burp and slurp, and who knows, man, and dry up all their water somehow. How in the hell could you do that? They couldn't do it back in the day, but now they can do all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But not to over glorify man. You know what I'm saying? But still, if man can attain all these things just by his own means, and his alliance with the devil and his minions and their technology and the deceivers and their tricks and illusions and stuff, God's got way more capability in all this. It's just where he's got the ability to hold back, and that's the true power there. While all these other guys got to show off, they can't really hold back. They might be able to hold back a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, since the time is short and the devil knows it, they have to keep ramming forward. They don't have they don't have the luxury to be like God and just and everything's already, it was already written. That's just, it's weird. It's just patience. And I mean, that's mentioned to us many times too. Patience, patience, patience. Patience is mentioned so many times. You know what I'm saying? There is a time when patience comes to an end and you have to act. But before that time, without patience, you wouldn't know it. You know what I mean? But since, if I would have just gave up on this stuff and wasn't patient, just, or assumed, I extracted and sucked all the stuff I could get out of it, I would have been impatient. You know what I'm saying? And that's where some people don't have the luxury to have the viewpoint of someone who's been patient with it and been coming at it for years. Like, just coming at it, man, full on for years, man. But not getting frustrated with it, and like, it's like when you get a writer's block. You know what I'm saying? You can get a word block, I guess. And some people do, or they just lose they lose the extra energy, man, to dedicate towards learning, man. Because it's not easy to sit down and read a book. It ain't even easy to sit and listen to an audiobook. Sometimes it's even more harder because you're more tempted to move around and get distracted. But, I mean, yet it still gets the job done, just as reading a book does, And that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. And other people just doing like seminars, man. I mean, I've watched so many of these people, man, learn so much in a short amount of time. I mean, that's the beauty of the internet right now. So I mean, disclosures happening like